Hello everyone, this is Nick Perry at Schaeffer's Investment Research with your chart slideshow for Thursday, May 17th. Today I am back with my weekly check of the broad market indices. In last week's chart slideshow, we were talking about the fact that the indices overall remained in their uptrends, but also that there was this slight rounding pattern. It was a little bit more pronounced on the comp on those three indices. Meanwhile, the RUT was showing this rally and then consolidation mode. Basically, the takeaway was that the overall patterns, still suggested the uptrends were intact, but we were seeing a little bit of a rounding that sometimes accompanies, short-term pullbacks or consolidations. When we turn to this week's charts, we see sort of a mix of reactions. Basically, if you look at the SPX, uptrend, mini consolidation. You look at the Dow, uptrend and uptrend. Comp, we see that uptrend, and now we're seeing that rounding pattern continue to play out as the comp basically comes back and tests this support zone, which is coming off this prior peak. And as far as the RUT goes, it's also sort of following in the comp's footsteps, since you've got the rally, we had the consolidation, and now you see the pullback, which interestingly enough is being caught right at the 50-day moving average. As far as my overall thoughts on the action, I guess I should touch on Ben Bernanke's comments this morning. Obviously, he was out speaking. He made some comments about slowdown in the housing sector, subprime, yada yada. Basically, expressed some concerns about that. However, he sort of tempered those thoughts, basically saying he didn't see that spilling over to the overall economy. So as far as him being a bear, I guess we would have to rule that out. But obviously, the market was sort of weak this morning and bounced back, so I guess I would consider his comments a wash. So that brings us back to the charts. What I'm going to be watching here over the next few days is basically how the comp does. Last week I mentioned that the 50-day moving average, was below the support, and there's sort of this little air pocket here. And unlike the SPX, if it pulls back, it's right at support and the 50-day moving average. We've got this air pocket here, so I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. Obviously the comp is, looks to be somewhat rolling over, so it's just a question of whether that is a leading indicator of what the SPX and the Dow are going to do, or if that's just simply tech's just sort of in its own little world, and the SPX and the Dow are just going to keep on chugging higher. So far, it seems like the chugging scenario is playing out, especially when you look at the comp versus the Dow. Basically, the Dow is just pushing higher regardless of what's going on here. Small caps, we do see this little bit of a pullback, but again, as I've been saying, not too overly concerned at this point. It's still holding above that recent low, and even after that, you've got support here, and basically, it's still in this giant trading range. That if you step back and you look at a longer-term picture, that's what this resistance and the support zones. That's basically what it's identifying. So this is just a bigger term consolidation, which is usually not a I don't get worried until support starts to get broken. So I guess my overall takeaway is that the uptrends are still intact. We do see some slight weakness in the comp that's worth keeping an eye on, but until we see some sort of confirmation of the weakness, I guess I would view that in isolation. So as always, stay tuned to the blog for further updates.